I'm going to take you back a bit to when your rat problem started all those years ago. I'm here with Ty and his son in their beautiful self-built house. Ty, how long has this problem been going on for?
This has been going on for at least 10 years.
10 years.
10 years.
Okay, and this is a common thing that we hear all the time. Rats appear from nowhere, and then you get the experts out and nothing seems to happen. If anything, it seems to get worse. I mean, who did you have out on this one? What happened, basically? So 10 years ago, you started hearing things.
Yeah.
Because everyone who's watching this will have had exactly the same experience. I promise you. I promise you watching this.
They all feel my pain.
Yeah.
And I feel everyone's pain watching this. So it started off with the usual urine scratches or what's that. Then we got a national pest controller out that everybody would hear of, UK wide. They said straight away, they've identified the problem. Charged us an extortionate amount of money to basically set down some traps. Came back 2 weeks later to dispose of the dead rats, and then said that's the end of the problem, which me being naively thought it was.
Yes.
Lo and behold, within a few months, the problem started again. And then we were told, well, clearly it's not the same rats because we disposed of them.
Yeah.
And I'm a lot of things. Stupid is not one of them. I knew they hadn't come back on the dead, but it was obviously a rat problem.
Yeah.
No, there's different rats, so we had to pay them again to come out. This has happened for the last 10 years with local pest controllers, national pest controllers, and they basically all said the same thing. Well, it's a problem you're going to have to live with.
Yeah, and the truth is, it's not a problem you have to live with, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to give a lifetime money back guarantee, would we? You know, and the amount of times we're hearing, I think you had a local pest controller out and he was like, I think a lot of these pest controllers, they've been watching us on YouTube because that's how they know that it's very likely that those rats are coming out of the sewer problems. But instead of just saying, why don't you get the pest interceptors in? Why don't you have a look at their content on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or wherever it is and see if they can help you? Instead of saying that, he said, what was he said? He knows a local bloke will come and have a look.
So the last guy came out and said it may be a problem with the drains, so I can get somebody to come out and have a look at the drains. So then I said, okay, well, if it is a problem with the drains, or that's where the problem is, how are we going to remedy that?
Yeah.
Blank.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a tumbleweed moment. we can't, was the answer.
Yeah.
So I thought it was quite funny. So you're going to come here, tell me what the problem is, and then take my money and tell me you can't do nothing about it.
That's it, isn't it? You want a solution, don't you? That's what you're looking for. You want at least to know what the problem is, but then you want the solution. And there's always a solution to any problem. I mean, I always say to people, I probably said this to you on when we was doing the video consultation call, if you've got like an engineering kind of mind where you know there's got to be an answer, this will literally drive you insane. Because all these experts, they're coming out and they're giving you this problem, that problem. No one's giving you a solution. No one's ever said to you, have they, or you who are watching this, because you won't be watching me unless you've got a problem. No one gives you an answer, do they? And they're never that certain that they say, and you know what, my friend, I'll give you a money back guarantee that I'm right. Why don't they say that? Why are we the only people in the UK, perhaps the world, that come with a money back lifetime guarantee? Why is that?
It's like that white coat syndrome with the doctors. It's like you'll believe anyone in a white coat with a clipboard.
Absolutely.
And it's the same thing in the pest control industry.
Well said, Ricky. You know, and it's like you need to get to the root cause of this problem. Oh, and what about the decking? Another big national company, wasn't it?
Yeah. So a national company told us, soon they go here, they said, right, we can see the problem straight away. All that decking needs to be ripped up. So I'm a married man. My wife said the decking needs to come up. It was all ripped up. No sign of any rat problem at all, ever under the problem. Then he came back out again with his manager, and his manager apologized and said they've had a problem with this where they're giving the wrong information.
Yeah. And how many times have I heard that? Oh, they're underneath the decking. There's a nest underneath the decking. No, there's a pipe underneath the decking that might have a hole in it. And you know what's absolutely crazy?
Well, I found it.
Ricky found it. Ricky found it as soon as we walked through. In fact, I'm going to stop talking to Ty now. We're going to walk through his beautiful house, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
And we're going to show you what Ricky spotted as soon as we walked in the back
20
garden.
seconds.
And
20
I'll
seconds.
just say before you go, I have not been paid to say any of this at all.
I can't
I am
afford
like
to.
you, a homeowner with
Yeah.
a problem.
Yeah, 10 years, and we're going to show you how we're going to solve this. Hopefully, it ain't going to take us too long either, because it's a long way to Wales. Come with me, Rick. Come with me, Rick. I mean, look at this beautiful house. Look at this, how beautiful this house is. And it's kind of all been kind of ruined by rats. And you don't want that, do you? You really don't want that. But look at what Ricky found as soon as we went through here. As soon as we went through, Ty was showing us basically, this was all decking that he had ripped up. Bless him. Because he was trying to do the right thing and he was listening to experts. And look, Ricky's come round here. He's got to this point and Ricky's gone, oh, look. That's how the rats are getting outside there.
All because that in there is supposed to have a rubber bung in it.
Yeah.
Granted, the rats can chew through it, but for whatever reason, when it's in situ, they don't chew through it for whatever reason may be. But look.
Yeah.
So when they got this decking ripped up, I can promise you for nothing, that was always there. That's been here since the house was built.
Yeah.
So all this decking's got ripped up, thousands of pounds wasted. And all he had to do was say, oh, do you have any drains by any chance on the outside of your house? Oh, yes, I do. There's one here.
Yeah.
Oh, let me just lift up one board. Let's
Yeah,
have a look.
let's have
Oh,
a
there's
look.
a rat hole there. But no.
Oh, and Ty was just saying to us as well, another pest controller came out. This was a Welsh pest controller in the area. And he convinced Ty that it was because he was feeding the birds. We see this all the time. We've got this problem going on in Birmingham right now where people are going, oh, the bins and it's certain nationalities that are causing the rats. Ah. Well, it isn't. Watch the video that I'll put on the end of here and it'll show you where the rats in Birmingham are coming from. It doesn't matter that there's a bird feeder or there's a pile of rubbish. The truth is, to stop it, poison is never going to get rid of the problem and it should never be used unless there's no options. And as we prove over and over and over again, you shouldn't be using poison because you don't bloody need to. So if you've got a pest controller coming out or you're ringing round for quotes, ask them, what are you going to do? Are you going to just come out and put traps and poison down? Well, it's up to you. It's your money. In my opinion, you might as well get that money and flush it down the toilet because it's down the toilet where the rats are coming from and we're going to prove it right now on this job. Let's get these manholes up, Rick. Let's get this done. Ty also seems to think that this seemed to all kind of happen when there was a new house built next door to this one. So this was a self-build built by Ty and his brother. And what an exceptional job they've done.
Absolutely fantastic
Love
job.
it. Absolutely love
Spot
this.
on.
But let's find out. Let's see what it is. Was it next door or was it Ty
You know
and his
what, should we
brother?
do-
Who knows?
Should we do this thing where I guess where the problem is before we do the job?
You can do, yeah. What
I
do you think, Rick?
I think what we're going to find, this house was built, but there was no problems. I think just from the information, from the emails that I've read through, I think what we're going to find out is the manhole, the furthest one away, that was put in to join the new house that he also built. I reckon we're going to find problems on that pipe and potentially we're going to find stuff on this furthest manhole away. But I might be wrong, but let's have a look and see where the problems are coming from. But one thing I can say for certain is the rats,
Surface rats.
the
yeah.
rats that the next door neighbours have seen occasionally have come from there. So we know that's one thing checked off the list. So now we need to find out what's going on in the sewers.
And it wouldn't surprise me if we find that there's a very similar problem on the house down there, and you might find the rats are coming out of here, going to there, coming back, or there'll be a food source because rats will only go somewhere for a reason. You wouldn't go to the McDonald's that's 3 McDonald's away, would you? You would go to the first McDonald's.
And you'd
Okay?
only go to the furthest one away if
If
the
the
first
others were
one had a
shut.
massive queue behind it.
And that's why when all these pest controllers are saying to you, oh, it's because there's a food source, they're kind of right, but they're completely wrong as usual. Because the truth of the matter is, you take that food source away, well, the rats will just go a bit further and a bit further and a bit further. The rats are still there. They're just going further afield now. Simple as that. Well, nothing's simple in rats. But let's see. Let's see if Rick is right. I've got a funny feeling that maybe when this was self-built, maybe there was something missed. That's what my feeling is. But we can't always be right. One of us is going to be right on this, or we're both going to be wrong. But
It might be the birds.
it might be the birds on the
feed.
bird feeder, and
No, I'm just-
it might be the bin strike in Birmingham, 100 miles away, but it's not. So if you need a rat-free lifetime guarantee, just search us on Google or click one of the links in the description if I remember to put it in there. Get on the wait list because we're super, super busy and we want to help everyone. But please just be a little bit patient with us. We're going through a lot of changes at Pest Interceptors right now. We're hopefully going to be starting something called Pest Interceptors Approved Pest Controllers. If you're a pest controller and you pride yourself on doing jobs correctly and right without just throwing poison around and talking bullshit, well, send us an email and we'll put you on a list that when we start doing Pest Interceptors Approved Pest Controllers, you can wear that badge of honour on your van, on your t-shirt, and we'll get you work as well.
For 3 strikes and you're out.
3 strikes, 2 strikes, one strike, and you're out. Right, let's get some tools, kiddo, and let's get going.
So there's something interesting that I've just lifted up that manhole and I found out. You know how we were saying about how rats will only go where necessary for food? They're not going to go and trek 100 yards for no reason whatsoever. They're driven by the same things that us humans are driven by, is sex and food and water and somewhere to live. What I've noticed is there doesn't appear to be signs in these sewers. So I'll just quickly show you. The rats are in there, but there's something I just want to point out. Can I lend your torch? If we look at this, I'm just going to do this for educational purposes, so hopefully the other pest controllers can kind of learn from these videos. So in here, what I've noticed to start off with, there's that funny fungus that we're always talking about. See all the fur on top of it? That's the fungus that lives in the rat poo. But if we look at this here, where this is backwash, this isn't where rats have thrown it up there. This is just backwash, and you can't even see any footprints or anything in there. That's not to say the rats aren't in here, because we've got the evidence that there's a rat dropping right there. And the other manhole is just like that. But one thing I've found, which I've never seen before, is, careful we don't fall in the manhole. This is very, very interesting. I've never seen this before. If we look at this...
I know what you're going to point out, I think.
Yeah. See, this, I believe, is a surface water drain. And now, if you remember at the start of the video, what I pointed out to you down that back corner, there was where the rats have got out of the top of the plastic grate. I think that's going to be connected to that. I don't know yet because I haven't even got the cameras in. I like to analyse the situation before I even bother getting the cameras in. And if you look at this, you've got to always look at the smallest details on these jobs, because if you don't, you're going to miss stuff that all these other international companies miss out on, the ones that charge a fortune and don't get to the root cause of the problem. So if you look at this, you can see the scratch marks in there. Let's light it up. Oh no, you can see it pretty well, can't you? So you can see those claw marks in the crap, that horrible sludgy stuff. And if you come up here, see how it gets clearer as you get up to the top. And if you look even closer to the smallest details, you have to look at these tiny details. Look, all these little scratch marks on the top of here. I shouldn't really be putting my wrist on that. That's disgusting. And if you look at this is all smear marks. And then if you come out a bit from where it is, look at that. If I was to put my hands there and do that, what does that look like? It's smear marks. So the rats, if you can even see, I bet you any money, you know what, to prove my point. I
was going to say, let's flip that
yeah,
up
if we flip this over, I haven't lifted this up, I bet you any money there's going to be a clear patch in the centre where it was straddling that. Gosh, that's heavy. Gosh.
There you go. Look at that.
That's crazy.
And
look.
you know what that is, Rick?
Poison.
That's because people have been using poison, and there's a little bit of it there, look, some blue grain.
Yeah.
Right, and that, believe it or not, and this is why we hate rodenticide, that is blood.
Yeah.
That is blood off the rats that have been going through there for 10 years with internal bleeding.
And you know why that's been happening? If you draw from that plane, if we draw a straight line across that, what does it leave? It leaves a gap that big. Yeah. When they have the rodenticide, they squash their body down. And in a normal rat, that wouldn't do anything because rats do that. But when a rat's been poisoned, all the lesions that they're going to get created inside their vessels, it ends up coming out. That is literally rat blood because they've been doing that. But anyway, that wasn't the point of why I was saying this.
I wasn't expecting that, mate.
I'm going to put that back down before it breaks my legs. But this is what's interesting. There's no droppings in there, but they're obviously living in there. And now this is a.
And let me just get this right. This is surface water.
This is what I believe it's surface water at the moment. And the reason why I think it's that is because there's an onion in there, and I think that comes out the sink for some reason. But anyway, you can see where they've squeezed over here, like we just said, they've eaten the poison and caused all that. They've dropped down here, and see all the other manholes I just showed you, there was no footprints, no anything in the slushy, shitty water. Yeah. Then if we look at that, if you look close enough, you might not be able to tell, but there's chunks missing out of it. There's chunks taken out of it because the rats are coming into here to eat the poo.
Yeah.
And then they're coexisting between the fowl and the surface.
Yeah, and they're literally coming
And
across
this
there.
is another, I just want to make another valid
Just
point.
zoom out.
This literally proves without any doubt what we was talking about when rats will only go as far as they need to go.
Yeah.
So in that manhole, there's only one dropping. If it was a severe problem, you would see tons of droppings, you'd see all the poo being devoured and all that stuff. There isn't. You know why? Because they're jumping from here, coming across, eating the poo here because this is the closest food source. That is too far away. So the rats are coming here, eating this. They're not bothered about going there. That's why if you're a pest controller and you're watching this video, you might have noticed if you put tracking dust down and you put poison down or whatever it may be, you'll notice the poison and the bait off the traps closest to where the rats are emanating from will disappear before the poison furthest away. We used to use that to kind of pinpoint where they're coming from. So if you was in a semi-detached house and all the poison was going from where the partition wall was and it weren't going from the furthest point away, you'd be like, the rats are coming from the neighbour's side. And it's all these little things that you need to add up and do the job correctly.
That's right, Rick, because I remember, like, back in the day when I used to use rodenticide all the time because that's what I've been told to do. The truth of the matter is, what I used to notice was on the first visit, there'd be rat poison gone from all over the loft. On the second visit, it would be all just at one corner of the loft or one side of the loft. And what was that telling me? It was telling me that the population was dying off and there was getting less of them. And what was happening was, because there was less of them, they didn't need to go as far for the food. Do you get what I'm saying?
Like this
just like
situation.
this, just like this. But that's brilliant detective work, Rick. Absolutely fantastic detective work. So all we've got to do now is work out how they're getting from here.
Oh, sorry.
How they're getting from here into Ty's house. That's going to be the next part of the mission, I feel.
Another thing I'd just like to say, if you're doing these surveys, and if you're doing drain surveys and stuff like that, it's great. We appreciate it. We need more people that are doing the job correctly, working through a methodical process to work out what's going on, how can we fix it, what can be done, and step by step, you'll eventually get rid of the problem if you use your brain. And like in here, for example, this has been done quite well. But normally what will happen, up one of these, where the builder couldn't be bothered to get the trowel and just get a little bit more cement, there'll be a hole under there. And when you've got something like this concrete slab, this is next to the house. If there was a hole here, I'd be like, well, that's where the rat's coming from. Job done. Get it back in the van and go. Obviously, it's probably not going to be that simple on this one.
Okay.
But I believe these two pipes run all the way down here, and I've seen them on the front drive. There's two more manholes there. It's a bit strange how they're coming up the pipes and then like kind of crossing over the systems. What we're going to do is we're going to start from the furthest point away because we know this is the end of the system, and we're going to work our way to the end of the system where the main sewer is.
Have you got them up yet?
No, I haven't. I can get it up now.
Look at them now.
So we've got these two manhole covers up, and at each manhole cover you get up, in my opinion, just analyse every part of it.
Yeah.
This is kind of a good thing to show you that life will always find a way. That's been living underneath that, and somehow it's managed to grow. But what we see in here is that looks like where rats have been nesting, where they've chopped up loads of bits of whatever that may be, where they've been sitting there. And then we've got all this sludgy, digested crap, and we've got the same over there. But they're definitely in here because if I zoom in enough, can you make out, see those lines?
Oh, yeah,
Those,
right there, look.
and you see this system here, if I can try and make that make sense, this goes up here, and you know how you had the two, we had a manhole here and a manhole there, and the rats were crossing over into this side. So this looks like it's got a food source and that one, and they're toing and throwing, jumping in and out of each system.
Might be a little bit of bad plumbing here, maybe, that both of them, the surface and the foul, is kind of intermingled somehow.
What on earth is that stuff?
Well, I was looking at this here. It almost looks like a bloody. I don't want to touch it with.
Is that bits of onion again?
That looks like.
Is it onion?
Some kind of food of some description. I don't want to touch it.
It's an onion skin, isn't it? And the other manhole, we saw onion in there as well.
That's solid. Oh. What is
It's
that?
onion.
That's a bit of something that's.
It's an onion, isn't it?
Onion or.
It's,
Well, boy, we're in Wales, aren't we, boy? They eat leeks here, don't they? Live on leeks. It could be a bit of leek. I don't know what the hell this is. It almost looks like a bloody. What the hell is that? Ah,
It looks like a fur ball.
that's what I was thinking. Like the things that owls kick out. Look,
It's very
what
bizarre.
the hell is that? Cat. He's got a cat.
It's a cat fur
Cat
ball.
fur ball that somehow the rats have picked that up and put it up there because there's no way that this can get here.
Yeah, because look,
Do you understand it? Right. Do you understand this? Right. Think about it. Right. Look at the poo and waste is coming down this pipe here. These are pointing in the direction of the flow. So how the hell would a poo get up there? It's impossible unless something picks up the poo and puts it up there. So all them pest controllers and drainage experts who can't solve your problems, right? They're always going on our social media and going, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh, fucking explain it to me because I know what I'm talking about, don't I? Because it's common sense, okay? It's common sense. I don't care what that guy told you in the classroom. I don't give a shit because I every day do this and I cure the problems. Not just I, the team do it, okay? We as a team cure these problems because we're observant and we use common sense, not just what we was told in a classroom. There's no way that can get there by natural forces.
And-
it has to be picked up by a rat.
and the only other way that this can get there is, for example, if this manhole cover wasn't very well fitted, and usually there's an ant's nest for whatever reason, ants tend to live next to manholes. All the frass and all the soil that they kick out would end up, and you'd see what's the word? You'd see it spread out evenly on all the sides. Why is it that we only see it on this side and that side? And well, that one's obviously not Gnu. But look, this is black soil. That is different. So
Let's get the cameras in, dude. Let's get the cameras in and solve this 10-year problem. 10 years out of 20 years has had this problem. Bless him. As Ricky was just saying on another section of this video, always go to the furthest point away, right? And this is exactly why you should be doing that. Look at this. Look at this.
literally what I was saying about how you're
Rat
benching
hole.
next to the house.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm going to actually get our camera and stick it in there. And basically, let's explain how the rats are getting into Ty's house from there.
And you know, it's funny, you know how we always talk about how rats follow the top of the pipes?
Yeah.
You can literally see a tunnel across the top of the pipe there.
Yeah.
That orange bit of pipe work, you can see where they've burrowed across the top of the pipe. That's another thing where we call this conditioned learning, where the rats have learnt to tunnel across the pipes.
And
this
they
is
all
exactly
know it. And they all know that thing with conditioned learning. It's like once one of them works it out, all of its family will know it within a few weeks. All of the rats in the area will know it in a few months, and all the rats in the country will know it in a few years. And that's perfect, isn't it? And you know what's mad as well? You see this, people would think, right, that's the rats have chewed through that plastic to get there. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. What has happened is they was already getting out there somehow. That could have actually been split, you know.
It does look
Actually, like it was broken when it was put in.
It looks like it had a crack in it.
But this is because the rats are just chewing on that. They haven't chewed that hole through to get into there. I think this was broken, and they've just been chewing on that because they love to chew, and that's why you've got all them serrations in that bit there. But I'm going to try and get our sewer camera in there and have a closer look. Let's do that now. Oh, and how are we going to solve this problem? Well, look how simple it is. Look how simple it is. One of these, right? And I'm going to explain to you exactly how this works, right? You want the rat flap as close to the problems as you possibly can. And I'm going to show you, especially on these, how simple this is. So you've got this locking nut here, which you can attach one of our fitting poles to. So you can get a fitting pole, but if it's a nice shallow one like this, you don't really need to worry about that. So what we need to do is the flow of the water is going that way. There's an arrow on the top, look there, saying flow of water, in which direction. I'm just going to turn this bolt round, because in this scenario, all the bolt's going to do is stop the rat flap going down the pipe and getting lost down there. It's very unlikely that would ever happen. But you want to get that tightened up nicely, nice and tight. Especially if you're using a fitting pole. So if this is a really deep one and you didn't want to get in there, or you couldn't get in there, You put the fitting pole on there, lower it down, put it in, and then undo the fitting pole and pull it back out. But look,
And the fitting pole's stainless steel, so you can use it until your last days on Earth.
yeah, time and time again. So always pest interceptors, flap. Okay, you can get these on Amazon or you can get them off our store. It's up to you, right? It's your money. It's your money. But we've got a bucket in that van. In fact, I'm going to show you in a minute if I remember. I'm going to show you a bucket of other flaps that we've taken out of jobs where people have paid a fortune to experts who begrudgingly won't use our flaps because they all hate us so much, right?
Or they're just cheap. They just don't
Oh, they're
want
cheap. Yeah, they don't want to spend the extra bit, a couple of quid, even though they're charging you, the customer, to fit the rat flaps. Who knows why it is? Because why wouldn't you use the product that the only guaranteed rat pest controllers in the country, maybe in the world, use? Why wouldn't you do that? But there again, people have been coming out here for 10 years and not been able to solve that problem. All they had to do was come to the furthest away manhole cover, lift it up and go, oh, toy, look.
You know what's very interesting? We've figured out literally all these problems. I haven't even turned the camera on yet.
Yeah.
I haven't even got the drain camera in.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I literally, you know what? I digress.
Yeah. We haven't even used a camera yet. But if you've got rat experts coming out and they haven't got a camera, fuck them off. Right, I'm going to show you how easy this is to fit. Every time I say that, I'll be here for 20 minutes now. So we slip it in. Okay, you see the flaps going that way. And there you go. Done. Now, how does this work? Right, well, basically, there's rats have got out on the top of that pipe. The top of that pipe will go through a lintel
Which
into
is
this
probably
wall.
on that pipe, isn't it? There's a lintel more than likely above
Somewhere.
that one there.
Somewhere underneath here. And the lintel is basically a bridge in the foundations. Okay, so the foundations will go down deep. Lintel goes through where pipes and wires and things like that need to go in there. Now, what happens is the rats that are inside the building, they need to go and eat some poo. That's what they eat, right? As lovely as that is. And they'll come down through the wall, onto the top of this pipe, through that broken bit there, into here, and they're going to go,
There's
where's
no
the
food
poo?
in here.
Where are you going to go? You're going to have to go through there. And once they've gone through there, that's it. They can't return. Okay. It's as simple as that. What a brilliant invention, huh? What an absolutely fantastic way to get rid of your rats. No poison, no agony for the rats. And yeah, I get it. You hate the rats and you think they're picking on you. They're just rats. They're just rats. The truth is, if that hole wasn't there, they'd have just been eating the poo in the pipes anyway. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
You give a shit. They eat the shit. That could be my new T-shirt. My new saying. You give a shit, the rats eat the shit. And it's true, that's what they do, and let them get on with it. They're not a problem down in the sewers. Let them do what they want to do down there. The only problem is when they get into your cavity wall and up into your loft. And if you're hearing rats in your walls, in your loft, and that's where it started, I'm always saying I'm 99% certain they're going to come from the sewers. I'm 99.9999999% certain if they're in the cavity wall and in your loft, that's where they're coming from. So get yourself a lifetime of peace and quiet and not 10 years of hell, right, by getting the real experts in, or someone that we tell you is an expert, and they're only going to be an expert if they have got Pest Interceptors approved pest control on their van or on their paperwork. Okay, so watch out for that. It's coming soon to a place near you. And if you're a pest controller and you know what we're saying and you know we're right and you agree with us, come and join us. Come and join us. Send us an email, help@pestinterceptors.co.uk. Tell us on the email that you're interested in becoming a Pest Interceptors approved pest controller. We're not quite there yet, but we're putting a big list together and there's more and more names coming on this list. And we're only going to pick the best, and it's only going to be the people that we can work with who want to listen to how the job is done right. And please just remember this. We're the only lifetime money-back guaranteed rat pest controllers there are. There might be some pretenders to our crown, right, who just go around trying to do what we do, and they're not doing it because they haven't got the whole picture. This was an easy one. We only film the easy ones.
The hard ones, with that stressed out.
With that
we don't
stressed
film
and
it.
worried for our customer that we kind of forget, or we're too knackered by the end of the day to film it. So we show you the easy ones. But if you want to really go in deep with us, I'm going to start running a course or doing some training. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to do it because we can only cope with so many calls, and we need other people all around the country who are going to do the job right. And it won't just be for doing rat pest control, it'll be for everything. We have inquiries from all over the country, from London to John O'Groats to Land's End. We want to supply proper people to do a proper job. Okay, so send us an email, pest controllers.
So we're going to finally get the cameras into the pipes now.
Yeah, I want to get the camera in there first, just to have a closer look at where the rats are getting in the house. Right, I'm doing a bit of yoga in here and getting into this position, but I've got our camera head through this hole, and now I'm giving you a rat's eye view. Okay, so they're coming through the hole, they're turning left, and to the top of the screen there, you might be able to just make out that's the underneath of the house there.
Yeah, you can just about see there's the brickwork. This brickwork obviously goes down,
Let me see if I can get
and you
the
can
camera
just
to
about
go.
make it out.
Let's see if I can push it along like where the rat goes. He goes up here, along that little
It's
bit
just
there.
And look at that. That looks like underlay.
Yeah, there we go.
So
And that is the underneath of the house, isn't it?
hopefully.
That's the lintel. There, look, that's straight
Oh
edge.
yeah. That's hilarious. I literally. Why does this keep happening? I literally said there's going to be a lintel going across that pipe there, and that's the lintel.
Yeah.
To the untrained eye, it probably looks like a bunch of concrete on the screen, but that right there, that straight edge, is the lintel.
And then the other side of that is the cavity wall, isn't it?
Yeah, and you can see the.
Hope I don't get the camera stuck in here now.
And
Oh, got more. Look at all these bits of stuff in there.
That's pea shingle.
That's
but they-
underneath of the concrete floor, isn't it, Rick? Is
No,
it?
no, that's that. What you're looking at there is the
yeah.
underside of this pressed concrete
Right.
floor.
Let's see if I can go around a little bit further.
And if you look, let's hope we don't get the camera
Ugh.
stuck.
It's kind of worth it for the shot. It's only a £4,000 camera.
And you know what's funny? The inside wall doesn't have a lintel. So they've put a lintel across the exterior wall, this one,
Yeah.
and obviously there's another wall inside with a 100mm gap in there. And you can see where the plastic membrane, that's what they put under the concrete floor.
Yeah.
And the reason why I know this house has got a concrete floor is because there's no air bricks.
Yeah, I don't want to go any further in there because I'm pushing my luck, I think, there.
So we've already found
Let's have a look
where
if I go the other way. What happens this side? Nothing. You see? And that's a prime example of they only go where they need to go. I might try and twist it this way, if it will. No. No.
the heck is that in my
So what I'm saying there is like that analogy I was saying about McDonald's. You don't go past 3 McDonald's to get to the 4th one. And the rats, they didn't go that way because they went that way first, and it happened to go under our client's house. And if they'd have gone the opposite way, it might have come up next door. Okay, and again, that's why real experts like us, we don't view just your house and your drainage. We look at the neighbours, even if you're not attached. Okay, so another thing to listen out for when you're getting advice off experts, are they as expert as they're coming across as?
they're expert at ripping you off.
Yeah. And let me show you what happens with the rats now as well on that camera. So the rat comes out of the hole, right? He's in that hole. He goes like this, he jumps down here, and he goes through the flap. And he sees the flap, and he goes through the flap. And on this one, I'm going to show you, he goes through that flap, eats some poo, and tries to come back out, and the flap's shut, and he can't get past it.
And always check that the flap is sitting correctly.
Right, let's survey these as well, even though there's no real need, but we're going to do a super thorough job and make sure everything else is okay here and there's no actual problems that need to be rectified big style.
Anyway, what we're going to do now, because we keep on trying to start the job and finding more and more problems that are really obvious. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put the camera down and we're going to survey all the pipes and check out if whether he's got any underlying problems, any other pipes that we need to worry about, because as you've probably seen on all our videos, it's not always one pipe, is it? It's usually several. So we're going to get surveying this now.
Remember what I was saying? So the rat's gone through the flap, gone looking for some shit to eat for dinner, and now it's going to come back to go through that broken pipe, through that broken hole.
Sorry about the wind.
Right, so he tootles along here. Oh, the pest interceptors have been in. Oh no, I cannot get back in. No. And that's it. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. But there's only one flap the pest interceptors use, and that's why we put our name on it.
So we've been surveying these pipes, literally took about a minute. Obviously, you know about that problem, and then we showed you this problem at the start. This does not connect into this. This is surface water. And now we always say on our videos about how the rats don't tend to exist in the surface water because there's no food source. Again, the McDonald's analogy, they need a food source to exist and keep going back and forth from somewhere. So what we've noticed is that that's got a hole in and it's not connected to the foul water. This our crap hose pipe has been leaking and it's leaked into that ACO drain. And this backs up the point that I made at the start of the video where we explained how they're crossing over the two systems. See that water that's running through there nice and clear, and there was no water in there earlier? That is a trickle of clear water which is coming from there, going into the ACO drain. It's running down the side of here. So now you've got to ask yourself, how did the rats come out of the plastic mesh? Well, they've came out of here where the poo is, and they've jumped into that one, and then they've got into the other system. So basically, the rats live in here, the sewers, and the rats tend to live in here 99% of the time. The rats are jumping up into here, coming all the way along, and getting out of the surface water drain. So if this was put in correctly, and there was cement that blocked them off, they wouldn't have got out of the surface drain pipes.
But the other problem would have still been there.
Yeah, the problem would have still been there. So again, you have to check both things, both systems, and always check every single piece of the pipe work.
Yeah, and I mean, really, yeah, I mean that would be the answer for if you've got rats above ground and they're coming out of that, isn't it?
Like
But
under your shed.
on this one, you're getting hit from both directions, and it's just a simple problem that was just this. If that was just built up a little tiny bit more, and it's a pucker little job they've done there, Ty and his brother, but you know, the best of us can make a slight mistake like that, and it can lead to all these problems.
Like the only mistake is made is a 5mm mistake.
Yeah.
Literally.
20 years ago, and it's led to 10 years of hell. And it must have took 10 years before the rats found the way in. And crazy world we live in.
So we have finished surveying all of the foul water system. There is no issues on it. The reason why I do that is because there's something that we missed when we was in here, which we've just noticed. Well, you've just noticed. So as I was just saying, we've checked all the pipe work out, and on the foul system, there isn't any issues apart from the hole that we saw right at the very end of the system. And obviously you've seen this problem to and from here. But what we just noticed is we put the camera in there, and it's full of this grain, this rat poison, which has caused all the blood marks, all the...
See if I can get see if you can see it. Yeah, you can see it on the bottom there.
On the bottom of the camera now, you can see that there's all that bait there. And what's happened is, what should have been done, this isn't his fault, but what he should have done was put two bungs in there, or put a proper, I wouldn't put a plastic cap in there after seeing how many rats are in here, because they'd just chew a hole through it. Or even a ball of chicken wire would work. Anything will work, as long as it works is the way I look at it. But the poison that's in there has ended up in there because the rats, unless the pest controller put the poison in the manhole, I don't think he would have done, but that's probably been taken there by the rats, or the pest controller threw loads of grain in here. And again, why would you ever think that that's going to fix your problem? If we was to describe a sewer like a rat farm, it's a machine that pumps out rats and your toilet is connected into it. No, you could be putting barrels of the stuff down. All you're going to do is create resistance. Yeah. You're gonna create resistance in the rats, and then you're going to end up basically feeding them poo and grain. So it's never going to fix the problem. So we found that they're getting out because what has happened is his intentions presumably were to seal the pipes off with cement. Makes sense, doesn't it? But what's happened is the moisture in cement, obviously gravity makes the moisture come to the bottom. That's why when you see cement, it will be wet on the bottom because the water drains through the cement. It's settled down and left a hole on the top. So the rats have got out of there and dug underneath the concrete, and they're going to be going underneath here. Luckily, they've done such a good job. The rats haven't popped out anywhere that we can see so far. So the weird thing with this is if we was to put flaps in here and there, it wouldn't solve the problem, because what would happen is if there was a nest of above ground rats living under someone's shed, they're going to come tootling along, pick up on the scent trails, because rats follow other rats where they've been, and they'll go through that grate, which will come all the way down here into this manhole. And then guess what's going to happen? The rat's going to be in this system. It's going to jump over these rat flaps in the outlet of these two pipes is going to do absolutely nothing. This is why you have to think things through. Think of it like you're trying to get into the house and think like a rat. Think, oh, if they shut a door on me here or they build a brick wall there, oh, how else can I get through? Oh, I sneak around here, I can get around there. Rats think exactly the same as we do. So they're going to come up and over, eat the poo out of here, come back into this, get out of the plastic grate, which is all the way at the other end. What have you achieved now?
There, under the shed that was imaginingly up here, and then back out through there, all the way down this in the surface water, this barrier, into there, eat some shit, back out that way, and all the way back again.
What we're trying to say, this is very confusing, and maybe I'm not explaining it very well because it is quite complicated. Because I can see it in my head, but trying to describe it to the viewers is really quite hard. But the rats are going to come up here, eat the poo, come back into the surface water, and then pop back out, and then they're just you're back to square one. You haven't sorted the problem out. So,
well, I mean, the truth of the matter is, though, Rick, we would have actually solved the problem with the rats inside the house.
yes,
I think
that's correct.
but it wouldn't have solved the rats that are
Living outside.
living outside, and we don't think there's a massive population of them because otherwise you'd be seeing them all the time.
Yeah,
And again, it's because there's no food source there.
exactly.
You know, and in fact, I mean, I'm saying that is rodenticide in there. I might try and get a piece out because there's a part of me that thinks that they might have got into someone's shed and eaten slug pellets.
Yeah, it does look a bit like slug pellets.
Look a bit like slug pellets, but either way, it's just shows you how complicated these rat-free lifetime guarantees can be sometimes. And unless you go to the nth degree, see what most people would have done, they would have found that hole at the end, gone, that's what it is.
Oh, let's concrete it. Let's put some cement in there.
Yeah, seal the rats inside and all the rest of it.
Then,
or they'd have seen that hole in the grate that you saw within the first 20 seconds of being here.
Yeah.
Gone, oh, that's how they're getting out. And you can't do that. You've got to keep on going. We don't want to do it. You know what I mean? I would have loved to have got back in the van an hour ago instead of doing all this extra work. But that's how we can offer a lifetime money back guarantee, because we go to the nth degree. We check everything.
And to all you lot out there who's saying it's quite a lot of pest controllers, if I'm being totally honest, saying that we can't guarantee the work, we can't do it, it's impossible.
Well,
read the terms and conditions. It's like, do you think we'd be in a job if we weren't doing this every single day? We're doing it every day, and it's because we're doing the job right.
And you know what, as well, the other companies out there that you all think are experts, you know who they are. Well, how come every third job we go out to down in the London area, Technology have done it? They've already been out, charged them $6,000. Are they experts? Are they? Well, every third job we go to in the London area, Technology have already been out to.
The same.
And don't slag me off again, Gulliver, because you're going to get this on virtually every video, my friend. And the other one is rat.com, innit? About every 6th or 7th job we go out to, rat.com. They all love him so much, don't they?
Yeah.
They all love him so much. Well, the truth is, if he's such an expert, why are we going out to jobs where they've been out 3 or 4 times?
Well, I'll tell you exactly why that is, because we've been talking about this on every single video. I don't know if it's that company. I'm not going to mention the name. You can carry on saying the name. I'm not going to mention anybody's names. What they do, I'm not pointing any fingers, but what a lot of them do is say, we are going to survey your house up to the boundary. Now, what happens if just past that boundary, there's a manhole with a redundant pipe sticking outside of it? What's going to happen? You've just paid, I don't know, how much does he charge? 500, 600, 700 quid. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't bother me. But what is that going to solve? He's told you your pipes are good. That's fine. That's fantastic. If that's what you wanted to find out, good for you. That's great news. But it hasn't solved your rat problem out, has it? Because the next door neighbour now, there's a pipe there which he hasn't told you about because you need to pay again for the next door neighbour's house. Then he'll come out and do another survey, find the problem, and then obviously at that point it might fix the problem. I'm not saying that he ain't fixing every single problem, but it's very weird how the same 3-4 names keep getting mentioned time and time and time and time again. I just wonder why that is. Literally, there's the one that begins with an A, the one that begins with an R and ends in an L. There's the 2 that you just mentioned.
Well, Rentokil don't even do drain surveys, I don't think.
No,
do you,
they don't.
Rentokil? Do you do it? I don't think you do. I don't think you do surveys. Why don't you get people out who actually get to the root cause of the problem?
And personally, I'm not here slagging anybody off right now. This is not me slagging anybody off. What I'm saying is that if you're going to do that, that's fine. But I can promise you that 50% of the time, maybe even higher, you're not going to sort the problem out. It's just it's just not going to happen, is it? You're just going to keep going round and round and round in circles. Survey this section, survey that section, put some poison down, put some traps down. What does it get you in the end of it? It doesn't get all it does is waste your money.
I'll tell you what, it certainly doesn't get you. It doesn't get you a lifetime money back guarantee, does it? Why don't they give you one? They're such experts. Why not? Why not? Why are we the only ones?
Literally just about finished surveying the pipes, and this is another prime example why you have to check every single thing, because this pipe that we're looking at right now, which we're going to show you, doesn't technically have a problem on it, but from experience, when we fitted rat flaps and you move the rat population down the system, those rats, especially if they've got young inside, will try their darndest to get round in a different way. So what we found is up this pipe here,
So 20 metres up there.
which goes to the other side of the house.
So just to explain this as well a little bit more, is when Ricky found that grate that had been chewed through, and he was saying the bung was missing off the back of it, there's like supposed to be a black something in there, black piece of plastic. Well, if you look here, just to that side, 20 metres away, can you see there?
You can make
You can see the daylight, because that should have a black flap in there that stops the rats getting up through there, and above that, that's where that one of those plastic grates are. So what would happen is, if we don't take this out of the equation, what will happen is the rats will go up there, they'll start chewing through the bottom of that plastic grate, and then you're going to have surface rats again. And then the surface rats will go all the way around through that other grate into the other part of the system,
Yes.
back up through the main problem that we showed you on the foul side of the water, and back into your system.
And if that flap that we fitted at the start of the video was not put in there and it was put further down the system, you know what? It's so complicated. I don't even think there's any point in describing it, because I don't think anyone's going to understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So this is a job where just one flap isn't going to be enough. So I'm going to fit a flap in here as well. That's the main sewer going down that way. Rat flap's going to go in there. Just needs protecting for in the future. Even though it's not a problem right now, I can guarantee you, when we stop the rats getting everywhere else they've been going, they're going to find that and they're going to chew through that. So let's get another 4-inch rat flap in there, and we do bundles of these, by the way, just to keep the price down a little bit. So on this one, you might want one of the fitting poles. I can reach in there quite easily though. So we do a bundle where you get 2 4-inch flaps and a fitting pole, or you can just get 2 4-inch flaps together. On this one, I can't remember how many flaps you'd need, probably 4, maybe 6. I'll tell you once I've added them up and we've fitted them. But that's all part of the rat-free lifetime guarantee.
So we've finally got the camera round.
So here I am in here. We're up the first one of these that was supposed to have been cemented in. And the cement has basically settled down and left a little bit of a gap there. The rats have got right above it, basically. There's a big gaping hole there, look. Maybe I'll try and push the camera down.
I'm going to have to turn the camera this way. Oh, it's made it worse. Honestly, this is the most reflective screen ever. Yeah, look. So that's a pipe. In fact, it's not a pipe. It's just a hole that the... Nearly. Come back a bit.
I've gone through it, surely?
No, you've just pushing poo. Yeah, okay. Oh, that was a good picture. Go forwards a bit. Come back a tiny bit. Yeah, that's crazy. So...
Can I go up the hole, do you think?
I think you'll really struggle, but you can literally smooth. Like, that's a perfect rat shape.
Yeah.
And you can see, you can't see it on the camera too well, the scratch marks where the rats have done that to get upwards. And then they'll hit the bottom of this concrete, and then wherever they end up, it's their choice.
Let's have a look at the other one, the next one. So first, is that grain or is that slug pellets?
You know what? I think it's slug pellets.
Okay, well that tells us they've got it in someone's shed then, doesn't it?
Yeah, just in case you can't hear him, he's saying that basically those slug pellets, it's not actually rodenticide, but there has been rodenticide used because of the blood that we showed you. That is actually slug pellets. So
is there a hole up there?
There is a hole to the top right. So if you come back a bit, keep coming back, it's really hard to make out.
Okay, so the annoying thing is, if you're doing this yourself, you're going to need quite a few flaps, aren't you? Because what you don't want to be doing is sealing them up there. So you need flaps, put in 1, 2, 3, and because of this little bit here, you also need them there. So you're going to need quite a few flaps on here. But because we're such lovely guys, you're going to get bundles, so you can get them in 2s, and it's a bit cheaper than buying them singly. Okay. And I'm kind of intrigued where those slug pellets have come from. I've got a funny feeling if I look in someone's shed, I'll find some slug pellets with the hole chewed in the bottom of it. It's very strange that. Let's go up this one now.
So this, if I'm correct, this is the surface water drain
Yeah.
where we saw, which we've mentioned a million times, where there's that hole in it up there.
And that will be off one of the side pipes going this way on it, I would think.
With any luck, we'll be able to actually get to the one that we was talking about. And so pretend that this camera that you're looking at right now is actually a rat. We are a rat going up the pipe now. This is a Mr. Rat. He's walking along, trying to find his little entry point. Where can he get out of? Now, that one to the right is going to be... Oh, it's blocked off, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's capped off.
So it's not that one.
Someone was thinking ahead there.
Oh, here you go. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
That might be because the manhole's open. Keep going.
Oh, it's just reflecting.
Oh, it's
That's
just
not
reflecting, so...
Ah, right. So that one there to the left, that'll be to where the rats are chewing out of that hole in the grate. Okay, so yeah, and that's probably why you got all these ratty footprints up here as well. I won't be able to get the camera around there, but we don't need it. Oh, will it?
I don't think it's going to...
Ah, it always goes the other way, doesn't it?
So we've basically sorted a 10-year rat problem out in, what has it been, 3 hours, 4 hours? 3 hour
Plus the
problem.
driving, all
Oh, the
this.
driving. We've got 3 hours drive, 3 hours drive, 6 hours driving today, 3 hours at the job. And 10-year problem has been sorted in 3 hours.
Well, it's a mix of things, isn't it? It's a mix of things. It's our expertise doing this for, between the two of us, 30 odd years now we've been doing this, me and Ricky. And also using the right flaps. Use the right flaps. We only use one, don't we? Never see us using Metex or any of the other ones. Never. We only use the Pest Interceptors rat flap. So here we are then, as I said earlier, we're going to have a look at all the flaps that we don't believe in and why we don't believe in them. These are all off jobs where they've had experts come out, fitted flaps, and the truth of the matter is that they nearly got to the answer. But in reality, because they were fitting flaps that are supposed to be superior, but they ain't, rats was getting past them. And then they had to give us a big load of money to come and sort out the problem. And really, if those experts had fitted Pest Interceptors, rat blockers or rat flaps, well, they wouldn't have had the problem. Here's one of the most expensive ones that you can get. This is a Nordisk. You'll have heard all the hype with these. This, when it's fitted in a 6-inch pipe, there's an inch gap underneath it. So it's got two flaps, all these spikes and all the rest of it. I mean, come on, think it through. Some spikes. But how is that going to stop rats? Some sharp spikes. Oh, the rats are going to go, oh, no, of course they're not. Of course they're not. They've got babies and young in your house. They're going to do whatever it needs to get into your house. And when we pulled this one out, right, this extremely expensive one, what we found on the back was you could see where the rats had been picking it up, lifting the flaps up. And the other problem with these is over time, you can see in there, all the crud gets built up in between the two flaps. And what happens when it's full of crud? They can't move. So then you're going to get blockages. Okay, so that's Nordisk. Very, very, very expensive. What else we got? Now this one is the Metex.
My favourite one.
Pest controllers love these. You know what it's good for? Catch the nets at your local party.
It doesn't even sit down, does it?
Absolute shite. I don't know whether this is a genuine Metex. It might be a copy. But the truth of the matter is, it's so complicated to flip the flow around. You have to take this bit off and do
No, that
something.
one you can't.
Oh, you can't on this one. Well, that's that one. So if you're thinking about buying one of them, don't bother. Then what we got? Oh dear.
Oh, that's someone who's making. There's a guy in Birmingham, I think, making.
I think this is a Brummie making this. All right, Brummies, how you doing? Because I'm Black Country, you see. Right, we're a bit brighter over our neck of the woods.
Hold it up like that. Look at the state of that. Look.
Not that's ever going to stop anything. Look,
Oh,
a rat can get through the top of there, to be honest with you. Right, again, junk. And then,
the worst.
oh, the Rose Shield. The Rose Shield, which is basically a cheap copy of this piece of shit, right? This is the Rose Shield one. Again, the same old problem. They've even copied one of the biggest mistakes off the Nordisk.
right, where they've put this kink in the bottom of it, right? See the kink in the bottom? Well, that's exactly where the rats get their fingers underneath, lift it up and go underneath it. Boom, straight into your house and then back out to eat some poo and then come back, lift it up, straight back in again. Why don't we fit them, right? And if you've got a pest controller who's coming out and he's trying to do the right thing, but he's too stubborn to use the flaps that actually work, the pest interceptors ones, or they don't know, there is that as well. Well, ask them what flap they're fitting, and if they bring one of these pieces of shit out, or they're charging you 500 quid to fit one of these pieces of shit, say, I don't want that, I want a pest interceptor's rat flap, and I will not accept anything else. Don't accept anything that's going to let the rats past. These are all off jobs where the rats got past them, so please don't do it.